LSU head coach Paul Mainieri announced as the Tigers' opening day lineup versus Indiana tonight. Daniel Cabrera, third-year outfielder, is going to lead off for the Tigers. Newbie Zack Mathis from junior college out in California going to be the third-hole hitter and playing third base. Hal Hughes going to play shortstop and bat in the ninth hole tonight. The opening day ceremony at the box on Friday night will begin with Ed Orgeron throwing out the first pitch to two-sport athlete Maurice Hampton.
Yeah.
That was clarified by head coach Paul Mainieri at his media briefing on Thursday.
Maurice is getting better every day. He's such a great athlete, and he's got such a dedicated attitude. He works as hard as anybody. And, the hitting is the most difficult adjustment that a youngster has to make. And, he didn't get many hits in the inter-squad games, if you consider one, not many, okay? He got a hit in his last scrimmage after, striking out about half the time. But when he made contact, you could see it was starting to, he's starting to make more solid contact when he did make contact. And then finally, the last scrimmage game, he had a missile right up the middle for a single, stole second and third. I mean, he's an exciting player. Well, first of all, Brian, let me make it clear that Mo is his father, and he would like to be go by Maurice, okay? That's how he told me. Mo's my dad. I like to be called Maurice.
All right, there we go. We got it. From now on, he is Maurice Hampton on Off the Bench.
Former Tiger Antoine Duplantis will be a part of the first pitch throwout, along with the Louisiana-Eastbank Little League World Series champs tonight on hand to throw it out. One more from Mainieri. He was talking about Coach O with the first pitch.
So we'll have a national championship coach throwing to a national championship player. I think that'll be pretty exciting. Real excited. I asked O about a week ago if he could come out and throw out the first pitch, and he said he'd check with his boss first, Kelly, and if she said it was okay, he would do it. So Antoine has been such a trooper. He was scheduled to throw out the first pitch, but when we had a chance to have O do it, we moved Antoine Duplantis to Saturday, and he'll throw out the first pitch on Saturday. And then we have the Little League World Series champions throwing out the first pitch on Sunday.
I love it, man. Champions all around. I mean, we'll even
Antoine, take your records, get out of here.
Yeah, but chill. But Antoine, not only does he have a ton of records on his own, but it's kind of a championship pedigree type of weekend with Mondo just becoming a world record holder. I'd say that is in keeping with the theme.
Anonymous user. What if O walked out and made a call to the bullpen and then Joe Burrow ran out? Would that be incredible? LSU Basketball. Will Wade spoke to the media on Thursday and said guard Charles Manning Jr. should be back as the Tigers head to Bama for Saturday's game. 3 o'clock tip-off for LSU, Alabama from Tuscaloosa. That'll be a 2:30 pregame for you on Eagle 98.1. Danilo Gallinari scored 29 points.
Ugh.
Chris Ball had 14 and 12 with his overrated ass. And Oklahoma City did look good. He did look good. And the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the New Orleans Pelicans 123-118 on Thursday night. Zion set his new single game scoring mark with 32 for New Orleans, his second straight game where he had more than 30. Zion was speaking with the media last night. Here he was.
My ability to get to the free throw line. I'm just going to keep going in there and try to draw as much attention as I can. And when I do, I'll have open kickouts. But for me, it's just trying to make the right play on the offensive end.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more coming up, Jordy. But the analogy that you've been using, I really felt last night, where he is like that kind of power running back that's just hitting you again and again and again. And then eventually you don't really want to deal with them anymore. Getting way better from the line. A lot to break down with this New Orleans Pelicans team.
Pelicans visit Portland next Friday, so it's the All-Star break. Zion will be a part of All-Star Weekend. He'll be in the Rising Stars Challenge game. Beach volleyball, LSU will host the Purple and Gold scrimmage tomorrow at the Beach Volleyball Stadium. The Tigers will officially begin their 2020 season on February 22nd in Hawaii for the Duke.
Well, I mean, come on, you want me to have it on my head here? The Kahanamoku Beach Classic.
Just rolls right off your tongue, man.
Duke Kahanamoku Beach Classic.
We're going to talk to their head coach coming up here this morning on Off the Bench. Beach volleyball head coach Russell Brock is going to stop by at the end of hour number 1, right before we have our meeting of the minds. Anybody see the Houston Astros press conference yesterday?
Yeah.
My goodness. Who is leading the PR team?
Yeah, because they should have been fired last time they let people talk in public. It's almost like they should absolutely be fired. I'm not, whatever, I don't want to call for their job, but you got to do a little bit of a performance review after what you trotted out yesterday. Getting shades of Rick James from Jim Crane.
Here is Jim Crane yesterday.
Our opinion is, that this didn't impact the game. We had a good team. We won the World Series, and we'll leave it at that.
Did you say you feel like this didn't impact the game? And what do you mean by that?
I didn't say it didn't impact the game. Basically, as the commissioner said in his report, he's not going to go backwards. It's hard to determine how it impacted the game, if it impacted the game, and that's where we're going to leave it.
Jim, sign stealing is a distinct advantage for the hitter. So how is it that it doesn't affect competition? So then what are you guys apologizing for?
We're apologizing because we broke the rules.
But isn't sign stealing a distinct advantage for the hitter, so doesn't it automatically impact competition?
It could possibly do that. It could possibly not.
Oh, my God, dude. That is so stupid.
Rick James from the back has a question.
I never just did things just to do them. Come on, what am I going to do? Just all of a sudden just jump up and grind my feet on somebody's couch like it's something to do? Come on, I got a little more sense than that. Yeah, I remember grinding my feet on these
that is exactly the move that Jim Crane tried to pull yesterday. Yeah, it was, we don't think it affected I never said it didn't affect the. No, Jim, you just said it. How do you go through all this and not arrive at the conclusion that your position is indefensible?
Yeah,
and you just have to take your lumps. Yep, and you have to take your lumps and you have to move on. Trying to act like it didn't affect the game, it's so easy to counter. Then why were you doing it? If it didn't have anything, then why were you putting so much effort into doing it?
I thought Bregman came off unlikable. His statement was very rehearsed. Just go out there, be a human being. You cheated, you got caught. Tell him you're sorry. You don't want it to happen again. Take full responsibility for it. It didn't affect the game.
I never said it didn't affect the game.
We were talking about it before the game. What's going to happen 2 months from now when Bregman, Altuve are in a slump because they didn't answer the questions today, and this thing is now lingering throughout the season, and some little, intern or some beat reporter says, hey, man, was it easier to get out of the slump when you guys were cheating?
Yeah, no, look, man, it's...
And if he does it, you got to maintain yourself right there because if you lose it in that moment, it becomes worse. This story is never going to die because the Houston Astros won't allow it to go away.
Yeah, they got to take their lumps and move on, but they don't. They're being a little defensive here.